Thank you, Fiona. I will take about 3 or 4 minutes of your time just to express the reasons why we're doing today, I suppose, the reasons for having this event. And but before that, again, like Fiona, I'd like to welcome you all because it is brilliant to see so many different people coming from so many different angles to this event to learn about what is a goalpost-moving piece of international law. We hope that this is going to be a milestone in the escalation of a learning and implementation process for the Convention in Ireland. With your support, this can be an important day for the sustainable future of Ireland. You might ask why it's important to us in the environmental pillar, why we're so interested in this yet another piece of international law. Well, it's basically in the recognition that any kind of sustainable future for Ireland, or indeed the planet, we need to involve everyone in creating the vision for that future and in owning the decisions that are made to deliver it. So everybody needs to be engaged, and in order for them to be engaged, we need to put in place structures, processes, and skills that enable that to happen. So this means public authorities proactively making environmental information available, because information is the basis of all activity. Without good information, without good knowledge, you can't engage in public participation, you can't engage in decision making until you understand what's actually happening and the basis for the decisions that are being made. So public authorities are required under the Convention to gather information, store it in a way that's easily accessible, present it to the public, and also make it available on request at minimal cost and without the public having to make any statements about why they want it. So that's a big plus and a big important thing. It's been there for some time in Ireland. It's being strengthened as we go along. The Irish legislation has been amended already once in relation to this. So it also means developing new ways of having future-focused, creative conversations between the public and public authorities that serve them. This is really, really important. We need to have new ways of talking to each other, new ways of having conversations, new ways of making decisions that involve people, make people feel that they own what's going on, and in fact that they do own what's going on, that they just think of it. Only when the public feels themselves to be participating in the creation of a sustainable vision for the future of Ireland will we get the buy-in based on ownership that is essential for the delivery of many changes that are essential for the delivery and the many changes in attitude and behaviour that are required to deliver on environmental, social and economic sustainability. It's also necessary in this context for the right of access to justice to support the two rights of access to information and public participation to be provided for. And we're seeing changes in the legal structures and the way things are done in Ireland at the moment as a result of this. During the course of the day, I will learn and we will learn more about all of this, and I hope that each one of you will leave the seminar today as ambassadors for the Convention, because it is a crusade, it's a change of heart, change of process, change of understanding, and its potential to transform the way in which we work together for the well-being of all is really important. So that's the message from me and from the pillar. Following that, I'd just like to make a few thank yous, okay? And I won't go on too long. It's not like the award ceremony in the parish hall. I won't kind of thank the bishop and the priest and everybody else, but there are some people who have been very, very important in relation to the Convention. And it's been a long process of getting the Convention ratified in Ireland. And it's been a very difficult one for the NGOs, for the government, and particularly for the Department of the Environment, and particularly for the section of the department which Fiona Quinn heads and leads on. So I would like to thank them, Fiona Quinn and her colleagues, Kevin Fordy, for Joyce and Margaret Ryan, for the work they've done, and others besides them, in bringing this Convention to the stage it is now in Ireland in terms of ratification. There will be problems in the future, I've no doubt about that, and there's going to be questions about the Convention and its ratification. But having said all that, there was an enormous hurdles of changing laws and changing political mindsets in order to get this across the border into ratification. So, and I'd also like to thank Fiona for chairing today. Our speakers, as Fiona intimated, have come from a long way. I'm going to come in reverse order, starting off with Andrei, who's come all the way from the Ukraine, Andrei Andrusevich. I didn't pronounce it right, I know I didn't. And then from Poland we have Professor Jose Jędrowska. Then Brian Ruddy from the UK, from DEFRA. And finally from the People's Republic of Cork, Dr. Anya Ryle. So they've all come a long way in different ways in different periods of time to get here. But I know all of them are expert in their own particular ways, and they're going to give us a really interesting day. I'd also like to thank our team, the Environmental Pillar team, Justin, Z, and in particular our hard-working and enthusiastic interns, Justina, Roberta and Aoife, have all played major parts in getting this together. This may seem like a very small event today, but actually the amount of effort that's gone into producing this has gone over several weeks and months. So, in terms of today's event, and a few just ground rules, if you don't mind. Professor Jędrowska is on the Compliance Committee, therefore he has a sort of quasi-judicial role, I think is the correct way of describing it. So it's really important that people do not raise issues about future cases in terms of the Compliance Committee in this meeting. It's really, really important you don't do that, because if you do, you're jeopardising his position in those hearings in the future. He won't be able to take part in them because his knowledge of the event will be changed. So that's and biased potentially. So it's really important that we don't bring up issues about potential cases. Generalisations, cases that have happened in the past, potential possible cases that are imaginary, if you like, or made up, absolutely fine, but anything else not. In the course of questions and answers, I would ask you to respect the opinions of others. People in the room, some of the people have very strong opinions and ideas about particular things. I would ask you to respect all the other people in the room as being equal and valid in their own opinions. And I can ask you also to have just one voice at a time, so we keep nice and orderly. I'm not expecting any trouble, by the way. It sounds like I'm expecting a riot, but I'm just preempting any possible riots, you know. And then I suppose, sorry, what was the final one? I can't even read my own handwriting. I think we're okay. We have enough said. Anyway, listen, thank you all very much for coming. I'm going to hand over to our chair and to our speakers for the rest of the day, and I hope you have a good day and that you learn plenty from it. And as I say, you go away as ambassadors for the convention. Thank you.